everyone, my name is Ellie Cupcakes and today I brought to you the second poster of my exam, my personal favorite of the batch. It took over 20 hours, so it's clearly the one that took the longest, probably because of the vines, but I was too stubborn to make it look as intricate as possible. It may have took a while also for the fact that the full file had to be split in 2 PSDs to allow the RAM to be able to process everything without crashing. It did crash once, but it might have been for the fact that I hadn't turned off the PC for a very long while, I think at least 4 days, and it couldn't take it anymore. Please sit tight as I prepare the cards. On the first half of the video, I processed to illustrate the 3 main figures on their own, of all the stages of Joseph's life. This is actually my second attempt of drawing him digitally, and his haircut is what puzzles me the most. Since the real theme of the exam was time, I decided to choose him as one of the 2 main topics, because it's rare to see in an anime the whole cycles of lifespans of characters. We managed to see Joseph's adventure from the very beginning, his training against the Pillar Man, and the following quite bizarre adventure in the desert along his grandson and friends against Dio, and lastly his appearance in part 4 to meet his son Josuke in the latest years of his life. Of all the JoJo parts I've read so far, part 2 is my favorite of them all. We had yet to be introduced to stands, and most of the training episodes were really cool. It also displays the Pillar Man, like, come on! What's better than actually fighting ancient gods, barely dressed, and with really distinct personalities? We have the narcissist, know-it-all, the crying softy, and the honorable warrior. They spoiled us with such interesting villains that never got rich from them. Sorry, Dio, that's just the truth. Back on the protagonist, Joseph comes off as really arrogant and naive at first. I used to dislike him because we were used to Jonathan's goodness and I wasn't prepared to meet such a prankster of his grandson. But the more you follow the story and you realize that under that skin of Adamas is hidden a heart of gold of someone that might be impulsive, but his first thought always goes after his family and friends in a very unique way. Being able to live through more than a part solidified my appreciation for that character, and it was cool to see him become wiser and stronger with age, until he couldn't keep up with the enemies they were facing and had to be relegated to a more simple role as support in part 4. Speaking about parts, I will always prefer the style of the early characters. I love the goofy and impossible muscle bodies, more than the slim figures that started to appear as Araki developed his style through the years. I respect his choice of improvement, and I will stick to the parts I like more. Besides Joseph, I included some items as symbols of his journey. The Stone of Aja, that's really important in part 2, the poker cards featured in the fight against Darby in part 3, the sunglasses from Invisible Baby from part 4, and I threw in the stand arrow that's featured both in part 3 and 5, because it gave him the stand Hermit Purple, making him the only character both able to perform Hamon and stand powers. Now, to talk about the drawing, it wasn't easy to combine so many features in a single drawing. My professor and I tried out multiple attempts before settling on this version. Each individual group is detached from the main file, hidden under masks but still intact, in case I wanted to put those designs into t-shirts or make stickers, charms out of them, as I ended up doing for the Aegis Stone. The exam was supposed to be 6 posters, but I threw a little extra stuff because even if they took a lot of hours, it made me feel like it wasn't enough, and I was resolute to get the highest grade possible since it was my last opportunity of being graded before the end of the school. I want to remark that all of what is going to be shown was done in under 2 weeks. And I kinda regret have given so much energy all of a sudden, because I knew summer was up next to relax, but in hindsight, I wouldn't do it again. It exhausted my body terribly, and I'm still recovering from July of that, and I would stand against getting overworked for the sake of a project, even if you are really passionate about it. This is also the reason of why I'm only doing a video each week, posted every Saturday, to not make it feel like a chore, but something my body is able to produce with quality, but also giving me time to spend with friends and playing, to restore my inspiration and energy. Do yourself a favor and take your time. Nobody is going to judge you if you only do what you can. This year has also been quite unforgiving, so it's important to take extra care in these times, both physically and mentally. To end on a lighter tone, I really had a lot of fun coloring this piece. Yellow and purple being the dominant colors, balanced perfectly in an harmonious way, and overall I think it came out well. These kind of drawings make me think of when I just started drawing digitally, like 4 or 5 years ago. A way less detailed drawing than this will take all 3 weeks of my winter break, while now I can manage to do many more things in less time, and I wish to become faster and better than I am now in a few years again. After Christmas, I was thinking about making a summary of 2020, with my general thoughts, my art journey, and the things that happened in the past months, to do a quick recap before starting the new year. I'm afraid I've been less productive than ever, but I'll go more in depth in the next video. For now, thanks for sticking by, and thank you for watching. See ya next time!